welcome to Revelator Al for another radio podcast thing. We're talking motorcycles, we're talking fixing your bikes, buying your bikes, selling your bikes, and anything bike related. But I suppose the big hot topic of the day, of this last couple of days really, has been Harley Davidson. Yes, they're in the headlines again, I suppose, possibly. No, some out there are in internet land, or quite justifiably very excited about what Harley Davidson has to offer. Others are a little bit indifferent, and others are a little bit, well, I suppose, outraged, really. But we're going to sort of dig into a bit of that. We're also going to talk a little bit what else is going on with the channel, some updates for you, the kind of content that I've been producing recently, and also what's gone on in the motorcycle world the last few days as well. So we'll dig into that, but as always, you can subscribe to the channel. You can follow us on all the social media. Look at all this here. Look at all that. All the social media here. You can do all that. And you can just get involved in the chat as well. Here's the chat. It's all there. I won't be showing this screen for you, but I've got it all open on my side. So if you want to have your say, let us know what you're up to today. And we'll dig into that. So any questions you have, if you get any motorcycle related questions, any Harley Davidson related questions in terms of tech, we can have a chat, have a discussion about it as well. Anyway, so that is that. I thought I'd get that out of the way. Okay, so let's just dig into it straight away, shall we? Let's just go straight into the news. Well, we know what we're going to be talking about. It's Harley Davidson, of course. Okay, Harley Davidson, as we know, this last week have just introduced two new motorcycles, what many have called new motorcycles. They're not. That's the plain and simple, is that they're not new motorcycles. Okay, they are. One is the Enthusiast range, which is the Fast Johnny. Let me paint scheme. So basically, the ST models, the Lowrider ST, the Street Glide ST, and the Road Glide ST have got a new paint option in a limited number, right? So we'll just bring that up for you now. There you go. You got those there, and you've also got the Icon. The Icon, which is the Electra Glide Highway King, which is. Yeah, it looks okay, doesn't it? It looks quite nice. A nice little video here as well. And yeah, they've done quite well, I would say. But obviously this looks exactly like, apart from the fairing, of course, and the headlight arrangement, but this looks exactly like the Electra Glide Revival, doesn't it? In fact, it pretty much is. They've taken virtually everything from that bike and put it into this one. Let's just quickly show you that. That's a Revival bike. Now, where is it? I've got the wrong one here. Let me just bring that one back. See if I can find it. Here you go. You've got the Icons. And this is all from the Harley Davidson website, of course. So the Electra Glide Highway comes in, well, it kind of reminds me of a Road King Classic, really. That's pretty much what it is, obviously with a different seating. But look, you can see it there at the top there. This is the red one. The orange one is right by its side. Then you got the El Diablo behind it. But the Electra Glide Revival is at the bottom. So if you take both bikes side by side, I know I can't do that right now, but the bags are exactly the same, all the boxes. They got the same furniture, all the tubing or whatever, or guards around them. Exactly the same there. Those are exactly the same. Same exhaust as far as I can tell. I believe so. They look like the same exhaust, yeah. Same engine guard. Obviously, same engine, that's no different. Nothing drastically different with the emblems, I don't believe. Possibly the emblem has changed a little bit. I can't really get a really close-up look on that. Actually, let me just have a quick look at this for you. No, it hasn't, no. I think the emblem is exactly the same. So really, all we're talking about is the fairing and headlight configuration. The side lights, the two auxiliary lights, are exactly the same as on the Revival as well. So you're getting this Electra Glide Highway King, and it's in our third release in the Icons motorcycle collection. The 2023 Electra Glide Highway King is inspired by the beloved era of long-haul scenic adventures. I mean, this kind of reminds me, do you remember when they used to talk about, they were talking about Harley Davidson bringing out a new bike, and the one that they thought it was going to be inspired by the Elvis Presley one, which one he rode. This is kind of more in that theme, and I think maybe this is what a lot of people were expecting, either when the Revival came out, or or soon after as the next one to come out. But obviously they didn't. They brought this out. It does smack, I've got to say, it does smack of they produced too many Revival bikes, and they couldn't sell them. So they've just brought out this, just resprayed them, and you know, that's it. I mean, it does smack of that. I'm not saying that is it, but it does smack of it. It does seem a little bit, you know. Anyway, we'll look at that now. Let me just get this here, and I think the number was about 17. Yeah, so the 1,750 of these will be made available. Excuse me. The two color options, which is this one's the it's in the picture it looks more red, but actually here it's a magenta color. Yeah, so magenta, hi-fi magenta, and birch white. And what's the orange one? Hi-fi orange and birch white. I'm not sure which color I like best, actually. But they're both okay. I think I prefer the magenta. Solo seat option. You know, again, it's just a Revival, exactly the same Revival with a new paint scheme or different paint scheme, and windscreen instead of the fairing, and up to light. You know, this is a Road King classic in, I suppose, I would be looking at, obviously with a 114 engine. This has got a solo seat, sprung sorts of pneumatic or sprung seat option. Yeah, so it was nothing. I would say that is, you know, nothing more. But yeah, obviously the Dave, hello, Dave. Different wheels. Yeah, I haven't got into that. And shorter rear suspension on this one. Possibly, are you talking about that? Yeah, let's dig into that. I can't really see any details on the. Yeah, so got a Milwaukee 8 engine, cornering, rider safety enhancements. It's not making, I've got to say, it's not making any big difference or big statement on the suspension. Let's go back to the. I'll tell you what. Let's just go back to the first page, because now I'm kind of intrigued. It's 1,500. I can't. Yeah, I can't get any details there. I mean, I'll take you. Let's have a look at those wheels. Those, well, if they are different, there doesn't seem to be that much of a difference in the wheels. Suspension, yeah, that's. I've got to say, suspension looks. The front forks look different, actually. The front forks do look different on this Electra Glide Highway. So, there we go. Magenta R750 and orange R1000. So, 750. Oh, was that interesting? Okay, I didn't know. Thank you, Andre. I didn't know they'd split the difference like that. That's interesting. I mean, what do you guys think of it? What do you guys think? I mean, I say I've purposely haven't really looked at these bikes. I got the press release a few days ago before it was all announced, and I purposely didn't put anything on the website, and I purposely didn't make any videos about it, because I just wanted to see what other people's reaction was to this. And then I thought, well, I'd save this all for a live show. So I kind of like it. I kind of think it's okay. I just wonder what is so special about it. What is so iconic about it? Dave B, a 16-inch from a 17-inch. Is that? Are we talking about the difference between the Highway King and the Revival? Is that what you're saying? It's a 16-inch on the front and a 17-inch on the Revival. Yeah, I mean, it's I can't say I definitely prefer the Highway King to the Revival. The Revival just looked like a blue bike with white boxes. It just looked too much of a, it's almost like you got an old police bike. And I know it's back in the day there was one of that paint scheme, but it just looked. I remember when it first came out. Dave, yes, thank you, Dave. When they first came out, I thought, they're a bit unfinished. They just look unfinished. It looks as if you buy, white plastics for your bike or for your car, and before you go and paint them. That's what it reminded me of. Whereas the Highway King here, in both the colours, does look. Let me just show you. You've obviously seen these pictures before, but this picture which you've got here, doesn't that look red to you? That doesn't look magenta to me. So this picture, is totally. That's why I thought it was a red colour, because it's not. But it's a magenta colour. Yeah. Let me just move myself out of the way. Here we go. Let me just move myself out of the way and get rid of that. There we go. Right, and there we go. So you can actually have a much better view. I'm right at the bottom right. You can't see me. I'm just out of shot here. But anyway, so I think they're better. I think they're better than a Revival. I've got to say, 114 engine. They look nice, and they certainly exude a lot more style. I think a lot more style on these bikes than the other bikes did. I was going to say a lot better. There we go. I don't know what's happening, but I'm being attacked by ants here. Empire of the Ants. Crikey. If you remember that film, that very dodgy film from the 1970s with Joan Collins in, I believe she was in there, or somebody like that. Anyway, right. So that's the Highway King. Let us know your thoughts. I mean, I'd say, I do like a Road King. I've got to say, I do like a Road King. So And I've never really been a Road King Classic fan, but I do like them. But I tell you what I do like is, again, I'm more, certainly as I've got older, I definitely like bikes with boxes, panniers, saddlebags, whatever you want to call them, saddle boxes. I don't know. So I'm very much, just from a purely practical point of view, just from, I'm always carrying stuff with me and all that sort of stuff. So, I like it. I do like it. But I just do think that they've taken the Revival bike and they've just taken a few things off and put a few things on, if you know what I mean. But there we go. But anyway, 1,750 bikes of these are going to be made. Andre, as you said, there's 750 in the magenta, which on the picture, let me show you again, looks red. And 1,000 in the orange. Yeah, I think I prefer the magenta on that. I think I prefer the magenta. Okay, let's get on to the next bit, shall we? This is the Fast Johnny 2023, the Fast Johnny motorcycle. Fast Johnny Enthusiast motorcycle collection. Now, done a bit of digging here. And what I've seen so far is a lot of American YouTubers and the bigger ones, let's say, of Harley Davidson, saying, oh, how great all this is and everything like that. You know, obviously Australia as well. I noticed, you know, there's a couple out there who are saying how great it is as well. I'm not saying that this Fast Johnny collection doesn't look nice. I actually think it looks pretty cool. And yes, it is kind of. I remember these. You know, you can still see this paint scheme on some older cars, right? So yeah, I get it, and I get the whole Fast Johnny heritage and everything like that. But look, this is what I want to tell you, right? So here in the UK, the Lowrider ST, with this third paint option, right, this limited edition paint option, is an extra £2,150. Now, I can't remember what it is in the United States. I think it's in the region at $2,000 something dollars, maybe I think might be up to $2,900. I don't really know. I'm UK based, so I don't really know. But I know they're getting a bump on this as well, right? It's not just here that we're having to pay a premium. Or sorry, if you want this bike and you want it in that color, you'll have to pay that premium, right? It's in the United States as well. But that's the side. You are getting a limited edition color, okay? Granted. For the Street Glide ST and the Road Glide ST, that's £4,000. £4,000, that's what, $5,000. Maybe not that much, but it's substantially more. That's a lot of money to pay for an extra paint scheme, and there's not a lot of paint on a motorcycle, if you know what I mean, right? There isn't. You know, you could say, okay, well, it's the cost of the paint. Okay, so if I was spray painting a larger surface area, let's say like a car or a truck or something, I get it, yeah. But it's still, we got to talk about, you know, these are still all coming off a production line, and they are still going in a production line paint booth, let's say, you know. So it's still mass produced, and I just don't get it. I just don't. Let me know your comments. I just don't get the whole thing where you're paying thousands and thousands of pounds extra for a different paint and different decals and a badge emblem. I don't get it. I just don't see how you can justify that. Now, if they said to me, okay, if they said, no, for this colour you have to pay £500 or even up to £1,000 difference, I would say, okay, fine. I don't really like it, but I would say, okay, fine. It is what it is. But when we're talking for the Street Glide and the Road Glide STs, £4,000, the Lowrider ST, $2,150, you know, if you look at the bikes, look, it looks really nice. I mean, they do look nice, don't get me wrong. But if you look at the bikes, Lowrider ST, let me just bring it up here. Excuse me. Lowrider ST. You got the Street Glide ST. If I can bring the picture up. And there we go. For some reason they've there we go. Right. This is a Road Glide. It looks nice. The way they've designed it is very, very, you know, sympathetic to the era, sympathetic to what it is. You know, you got the Fast Johnny motif or emblem on the left-hand side, and there's a whole history behind that as well. And so it looks good. I'm not sure whether this whole thing translates to the UK riding, because this is a very much an Americana thing, a very much an American thing. And it's not recent American, it's old American. But I get it. I think some people will definitely want to grab onto this, right? But if you compare this bike, this is the Road Glide ST, then the Street Glide ST, right? This one. You can see, like for like, in terms of body panels, in terms of the amount of time and effort and paint actually used, you could say these are a match, right? The Lowrider ST, pretty much the only difference is it's the side panels that are just not being painted, right? Maybe, yeah. So you're talking nearly, so what's £1,850 difference just to have two side panels painted on the Street Glide and the Road Glide ST. That's you're paying £1,800, let's say. Is that right? Am I reading that right? Yeah, £1,800, £1,850 just to have two side panels painted. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. But I've got to say, they do look good. They do look good. I mean, what are the prices here? Okay, the prices are... Yeah. Okay, so the base price is still the same. You just add in £4,000 onto the list price, or the MSRP. So you're talking 29,895. This is for the Street Glide ST. So that's 33,895. Let's say 34,000. Road Glide is, I think it's the same price, isn't it? Yeah, Road Glide is exactly the same price, and ST is Lowrider ST is 20,695. So you're saying 22,845 pounds. I think the Road Glide, strangely enough, I think the Road Glide and the Street Glide STs, I think I prefer the look of those, but you can't ignore the value in the Lowrider ST. In comparison to those, you're pretty much saving yourself £10,000. Not the same bike, but of course, some would say a lot better bike. I mean, I would say because I'm a Softail guy, right? I'm a Softail chassis guy. These are great. These got the 117 engine. It's pumping out the tunes. It's pumping out the vibes. Still not sure about the placement of those bags at the back. I think they're a little bit high for the lines on that bike. I would have liked to have seen the rear mudguard or the rear fender a little bit more on the side profile. But no, overall, it's a great looking bike. I haven't ridden one, the Lowrider ST, but the reports are great, and why wouldn't it be? It's a 117 engine, Softail chassis, monocoque suspension, upside down forks, which I've got down on my bike, and that's why I'm thinking. That's why I've always said my bike, the Sport Glide, is one of the best riding bikes, because it's a combination of for Harley Davidsons in the Softails, it's the combination of the geometry, the wheels, and obviously the suspension, front and rear suspension, and that's what makes it. If you've got something that's, you could say, is better than that in terms of overall package, in terms of handling as well, when the Lowrider ST is definitely the Lowrider S, and the Lowrider ST is definitely the one you should be looking at. But I just think, let us know what you think. Let us know what you think on these. I kind of like it. I kind of like the look of it. It does remind me of, as it's supposed to. It does remind me of muscle cars, but it does also remind me of, Ford racing colours, Ford Go Faster stripes, on cars, but there's also a bit of AC Cobra in there as well. So it's a little bit of everything there, isn't there? There's a little bit of everything in there, but it's of the era. It's of the era. I mean, it just, okay, that's just, let's have a look what it says. Yeah. It doesn't really go. I mean, basically, this limited edition trio of sport touring motorcycles features our first racing mascot, Johnny the Pig, on the fuel tank. That's where I believe That's where the hog term came from. From that mascot, which is they're called Johnny the Pig. They used to do victory laps, holding that mascot, which is a little piglet. Anyway, Johnny the Pig, and that's why they used to call them hogs. I believe. I did not know that actually until I read it the other day. Actually, I don't know. I forgot what I read it. It's online somewhere. But there we go. It does look good. This racing stripe definitely does look good. Let me just quickly show you there. I mean, you can look at the website yourself here as well. It everything seems to be right side bias on these on these websites, but it does. I tell you what I do. Let me just. I wonder if the Street Glide, if I just did that, yeah, it's got the racing stripe on it. Look at that. Let's go the Road Glide. I think the Road Glide is better. I think it looks better on the Road Glide, actually. I think it definitely looks better. The Road Glide seems to handle this paint scheme, this paint colour combination, all the stripes, a lot better than the Street Glide. Again, just my personal take on it. Yeah. I mean, in all fairness, I prefer the Street Glide as a bike to the Road Glide, but I think the Road Glide handles this a lot better. It's more muscle bike, muscle car styling on a Road Glide, I think, whereas on a Street Glide it's less. And then the Lowrider ST, I like it, don't get me wrong, I do like it. I just see on the Lowrider ST there isn't the racing stripe on the fairing. There's nothing there for it to, so I think you're kind of missing out a little bit there. Yeah. I mean, it's on the tail section, I suppose, and it's on the tank, of course, but it doesn't seem to continue to the front. So let's have a look on the Street Glide. Street Glide, you've got it all. Yeah, on the Street Glide, it goes all the way to the rear. And the Road Glide goes all the way to the rear as well with the tank, yeah. So what you've got on the Road Glide and the Street Glide here, sorry, you don't have any, on the fairing, you don't have any side white decals, whereas on the Lowrider ST, they do. They continue that forward. And that makes it a little bit... Yeah, I mean, because they can't put it at the front, they put it on the side there. Hey, look, it looks okay. It looks good. I'm not sure whether I would. I mean, I don't think this is my kind of colour anyway, my kind of colour combination. But I just wonder whether it would translate into the UK market, let's say, European market, or you know, into any other market around the world. I don't know how many of these are being sold actually. What the limited edition, how many numbers are there? Is there limited? I don't think there are limited numbers here. I think you can just order it as you want. See, the interesting thing when they see, as yet, I have not. Now, have I seen the Diablo? El Diablo? I don't. Sorry, I do. I have seen an El Diablo just once. Ever since they released them, I've only seen one El Diablo. I don't really like the colour of it. I'm just, all I'm saying is that, you know, that's it. The Revival bike from last year, whenever it was, Electra Revival, I saw one in a showroom, one in a dealership. Never seen one elsewhere. Not being ridden, not parked up anywhere. Never seen one. You might have done, but all I'm saying is that I've not. Here in the UK, this is. I'm not talking about elsewhere. I'm just talking about here in the UK. And I just wonder, with these, Lowrider ST, Street Glide ST, Road Glide ST, with this Fast Johnny paint, how many are actually going to be sold in this country, and will we actually see them? I'd be really, I mean, fair play to you, hats off to you if if you take the plunge and buy one of these. But again, so look, I've got to be a bit critical here, right? So this is my critical part here, right? Here you've got the electrical side covers on the Lowrider ST. They're still in black. They're still in black. So you would have thought that they would have finished off the paint scheme and colour matched those, but they never do. Same with the El Diablo. They're not colour matched either. You have to paint those yourself. So again, it's like you're trying to make this a special bike. You're trying to make this a special paint. Well, why not finish the bike? Why not finish that bit? It just doesn't make sense. Just finish the bike, for Christ's sake. Oh dear. But yeah. Yeah, let's have a look here. That's done that. That's done that. Yeah. What do you think? What do you guys think of it? Jonathan, hello. Greetings, Revelator. That's me. Yeah, I can't even read my own name. From southwest coast of the island of Australia. Ah, hello. And hope all is well over there. I believe these Fast Johnny bikes have arrived in your country already. I don't think it works on the ST. I'm not sure this works. This colour works, to be honest with you. I'm not sure. I get it why they've chosen the ST to have this colour scheme on it, the Fast Johnny thing. I get it, because these are the performance bikes, right, from Harley Davidson. So if you want to try and bring back like a muscle bike or super muscle bike, muscle car, super muscle car, kind of vibe, then I get why you would do this. But I'm not 100% sure myself whether this is the right move from Harley Davidson. I'm really not sure. And again, I would be very surprised. I'll be really interested to know how many are going to be sold. How many people will pay that extra for this paint scheme? I'm sure they will. Of course they will. People will do anything. There's always a market out there for people who want something a little bit different. Instead of us all having black bikes, and I am a black bike kind of guy, right? But instead of everybody having black bikes, then you might want to go for this. And let's not forget, if you take your bike, you take all the panels off, and you send it to a paint shop, custom paint shop, and you say, I want this all painted, in whatever colour, right, you want, in graphics. It obviously depends on what you have, but you're gonna be spending that kind of money anyway, aren't you, on a new paint scheme, especially if it's something quite particular, quite special. Then yeah, you're definitely gonna be looking at that. Definitely gonna be looking at that kind of thing. £2,000, £3,000, £4,000, £5,000, shekels, whatever it is. Yeah, I'm gonna look at this again, because let's have a look here. Yeah, I just wonder. You see, look, I've always thought that the bags on here, they're set too high. That's what it is. They're set too high. See, on the Sport Glide, these are Sport Glide bags. They're nothing special. They're just from my bike, right? These are Sport Glide bags, and they've put them onto the ST. So they on the Sport Glide, they sit a little bit lower, so you can actually see the profile of the rear mudguard, the rear fender. Whereas in these, you can't. So I just wonder, like the black inner sleeve, should that have been painted? No, probably not, actually. Probably not. Looking at it, that would have been too much blue. Well, yeah. I think so. I mean, look, it's a nice looking bike. Don't get me wrong, and the Street Glide, I get it, and the Road Glide, I get it. I think the Road Glide, as I say, I think the Road Glide is the better bike for this kind of paint scheme. It is kind of, you know, if we're talking racing, then it is kind of Battle of the King of the Baggers or Battle of the Baggers or whatever it is, King of the Baggers in the US. It is that kind of racing sort of style, if you know what I mean. So that works. But you know, I think if you're gonna do this bike, you know, I would say you'd probably be best served not. I think you'd be best served just waiting to see how many bikes are sold with this, and maybe if you can get a better deal, you know, on a used one, possibly. I mean, that might be a good buy, a better used one. Wouldn't pay a dime extra for the paint job. Well, this is what I said earlier on, actually, Dutch. Thank you for joining. This is what I said earlier on. I said, well, it's just paint. It's just paint and stickers, really, decals on there. So why is it costing? You know, we're not talking one-off bike paint jobs, which they can cost a lot of money, of course. These are still production bikes. These are still production paint booths, you know, mass-produced to a certain degree. So, you know, all they're doing, instead of spraying it black or Vivid Black or White Sand Pearl, they're just, you know, spraying it fast Johnny Blue. You know, that's all they're doing, really. But I do wonder why it's, you know, that much. They could have done much better with those graphics on the STR. But the thing is, I think they're just trying to represent or reproduce, you know, that simplicity of that design from, you know, all those years. You know, those Ford cars, those the racing cars, the AC Cobra, and also I don't know if these, obviously the Fast Johnny logo of then back in the day, but I'm not sure if these colours were the racing team colours at the time. I don't know. Dutch, the right hand side bag is actually smaller than the left. Yes, it is. It's exactly the same on the Sport Glide, and the reason is for the exhaust, as well. If you look at that now, so if you look at that, you look at that, you'll see that you see that comes up higher, a little bit higher. Well, that comes a little bit lower. So that's, you can't really see it there. That's a little bit lower there. That's a little bit higher, and that's for the exhaust. Now, the question should be, actually, why did they make it like so? Why didn't they just put it in like a big 2-into-1? If you want a performance exhaust, actually a 2-into-1 is a better option anyway. A 2-into-1, and just drop this bag down and make it a little bit better. But obviously they didn't. Yeah. So there we go. Why didn't they package the exhaust so that they would be able to fit the Street Glide bags on it? Well, yeah, yeah. Yes, exactly. They're trying to make it look like a Shelby Cobra style paint job. Yeah, AC Cobra, yeah. Oh yeah, Shelby Cobra, yeah. The problem with the new model bikes from HE is that the high prices of the new models are influencing higher prices of used bikes. That's right. There is a big knock-on effect. Hello, Scoot. Hello. Thank you for joining. Right-hand side bag equals his. Left-hand bag is hers, obviously. No, it's just the design. You know, the Sport Glide that I've got, I think it's just the design of the bags. They're that side, they're the same. It's just, yeah, coming down. It's just the way they fit on the bike. Let's put it that way. And they are, I mean, when you ride them, they're not that different. When you use them, on my left hand bag, if you're, my right hand bag is smaller, which is say is smaller, but I fit virtually everything in it. The left hand bag, which is bigger, the one behind me, the left, it depends which one you're looking at. If you're looking front to back, it's the left bag, but if you're looking back to front, it's the right bag, if you know what I mean. Anyway, you get my point. So I've, they're all full of stuff. Dutch, I've just shown you. Have you gone over the Electra Glide yet? Or I have. I started with that as well. The Highway King. Yeah, I kind of like the Highway King. But it does appear. It does appear as if they've just, got a whole load of revival bikes lying around. And they think, right, we'll just spray them up and change it up a little bit and try and get rid of those, Yeah. But there we go. Yes. Left and right is from the rider's point of view always. Yes. So as I sit on the bike, my right bag behind me, that's the right bag. That's the left bag. So the right bag is the smaller bag. The left bag is the bigger bag. And it's the same on the ST. It's the right bag that is a smaller one to accommodate for the exhaust. As I say, I mean, I've got a 2-in-1 exhaust on mine. So why is it a smaller bag? I do not know. Shouldn't really be a smaller bag, but there we go. That's where we're at. There isn't a great deal. There is a little bit of heat. I suppose the problem is if you're sitting in traffic. Let's say you're sitting in traffic somewhere, but then again, if you're stuck in traffic, you should just turn the engine off. But if it's slow moving traffic on a hot day, you probably get a lot of heat coming up from that bag, Also that exhaust onto that right hand bag. But there we go. Listen, that's the Lowrider ST, the Street Glide ST, and the Road. Oops, sorry, wrong one. And the Road Glide ST. Yeah, I mean, if you look at this, let's get. The Road Glide definitely has a better stance, I think, for this kind of colour scheme. Street Glide and the Road Glide. I mean, as I say, the Street Glide and the Road Glide, if you want to do touring, then obviously with the bags, they're a better option, And I've always thought about the touring bikes. Would be a better option, get a Street Glide or a Road Glide or something like that. And not necessarily because I'd like to go and do long riding tours. I think it's just, the comfort and the big boxes and everything on there. Yeah, I kind of like that. But it's just the ride quality, the suspension on them. I just don't think are as good as a Softail. Now, what they've done with the CVOs now, as well, and I haven't. These CVOs, the Street Glide and the Road Glide, well, obviously we'll have to wait and see if the tech on those then finds its way into the Tourers next year, let's say, or the year after. If the suspension is going to be, upgraded just for the Road Glide special, the Street Glide special, that kind of thing. So I just wonder. I know we're looking at the STs here, so I'm just talking about the road glide and the Street Glide specials. Would if they upgraded the suspension as a stock bike, as it were? Yeah, I think I'd be very interested in that. Handlebars on Highway King don't look like a 68. Looks funny with the windshield off. I have the sport bags for the Pan America special. Same there, smaller for the exhaust. The cylinder is broke without hardly any use. Do you know what? With all bags, pretty much all bags or boxes are always smaller on the exhaust side. It really depends where the exhaust flows as well, because actually a lot of bikes have the exhaust that goes up, and then the box or the bag or whatever is molded around the shape of the exhaust. And usually there isn't a lot of distance, there isn't a lot of space between the exhaust and the box or the bag. So this is why I think sometimes Harley Davidson are overdoing the space, the gapping between the box, the right hand box, and the exhaust. But yeah, so that right hand box, or the exhaust side box, is always smaller. Yeah. Dutch bars should be lower and wider on a highway king. Excuse me. I used to have a 1973 Electra Glide. Yeah, I do wonder what they're trying to base these bikes on. What are they trying to give them a little bit of a hint? Or are they trying to be to reproduce something from back in the day? And I think that's the problem. I think some people are looking at these and say, "Oh, these are reproductions." They're not reproductions. They're kind of just giving a little hint. These are just modern bikes. They're modern. They're the modern bikes, the modern engines, the modern equipment, the modern safety enhancers. I mean, here we go. It's. What did it say it was? I just wanted to see what information it had on it. There we go. It's got, cornering rider safety enhancements. It's got experience enhanced handling with cornering, electronically linked brakes, cornering ABS, cornering traction control, drag torque slip control, vehicle hold control. This is the RDRS pretty much, rider defense reflex RDRS. The reflex, what's it called? The reflex defensive rider system, or whatever it's called. I can't remember. Whatever it's called. Anyway, so it's got all that. I'm not sure if the Icon had all this actually. The Revival. I don't think the Revival had all of this on it. So I suppose this is because all the bikes have got this now. So I assume this is where we're looking at that. But it's what you regard it. And I suppose, as you say, if you take the windshield off, it's going to look a bit goofy. But I suppose it's not supposed to be ridden without the windshield, right? Possibly. I wonder if HD have fitted better quality spokes to the wheels on the Highway King. Previous models like the Slim, Street Bob, Deluxe, Heritage Classic were notorious for rusty spokes. Well, yeah, absolutely. And I think it depends where you are in the world and what kind of environment you're riding in. I wonder if the solo tractor style seat like cops used back in the day can be fitted on the Highway King. I wonder well, it's got the solo seat, but so here we go. Look, so right here on my side, it's got shopping tools. Let's have a look. You could buy extras. Could you buy extras for it? Let's have a look. So, no, shopping tools. That's just to request a test ride. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, Dutch. I wouldn't be surprised if you can get things for it. Oh, certainly there'll be something that could be modified. Definitely. I think the seat you're on about is the wider rounded seat, aren't you? It's the wider rounded seat that goes into a more of a narrow point. That one, isn't it? That's the one, I think. Wrong. What am I wrong about? Windshield comes off, and that was the whole thing back in the day. The bikes look good with or without windshield or bags. Well, okay. Let's put it this way. It's not necessarily that I'm saying the sheer windshield shouldn't come off. Okay. Maybe you misunderstood me. All I'm saying is that the way this look has been designed, it's with the windshield in place. If I took my fairing off my bike, which is a removable fairing, for me, I think with the stock bars, I think it looks a bit goofy. So if I took the fairing off, I'd have to have a different set of bars on to make it look a little bit better. But with the fairing, it hides the fact that the bars are a little bit goofy on my bike. So I think this is a similar kind of thing. I think it's, that's why they have those bars on there with that. Again, this is the first time I'm kind of really looking at the bars. And oh, no, sorry, that's something else. Yeah. Yeah, you don't really get a good look at the... Let's have a look here. Oh, there we go. Let's have a look at these bars here. Yeah. Are these the same as kind of... I can't remember what the Road King Classic bars were. I've got a feeling they were similar to that, weren't they? Were they or were they not? Yeah. I'll tell you what, let me see if I can... I'll tell you what, let me... Just bear with me 1 second. Let me see if I can find... Let me go to the media site. And I'll go to the bikes from last year, which would be 2022, wouldn't it? Yep. If I could. And let's go for the touring. And let's go Road King... I'll just go Road King because that would be yeah. Do you know what? I've got a feeling these are the same bars on the Road King or the Road King Classic. Let's try and let me just. Yeah, they're the same bars. They're the same bars. There we go. Yes, these are Road King late model bars. Yes, that's right. Yeah, I had a feeling they were. I wasn't 100% sure because sometimes you can look at some things that, oh yeah, they're exactly the same, and then you kind of dig into it. That no, they're not the same. And it's always hard to see it on a 2D picture, of course. But yeah, they kind of reminded me of it. But yeah, thanks for clearing that as well. Dej Classic Cars, happy Friday to me, happy Friday to you, sir. Like the Highway King, with only 1,000 units built, it should hold its value pretty well. Yeah, I would say so. Look, if we're talking, for me, as a first impression, which would I go for in terms of if I had the money and I wanted to spend the money, that's more the point, right, on these two bikes. But which would I go for, the Lowrider ST or the Street Glider ST, the Fast Johnny bike, or would I go for the Icon bike, the Highway King? I would go for the Highway King. Personally, that's the bike I would go for. My only question is the solo seat. I'm just wondering why, if this is supposed to be a highway, touring era motorcycle that's supposed to, bring that up from the past. What was it? It said, I can't remember. It said something. Yeah, the 2023 Electra Glide Highway King embodies the nostalgia of the cherished two-lane road trip inspired by iconic 1968 FLH Electra Glide. So I'm just wondering whether the solo seat works in the modern era, of this kind of motorcycle. I could be wrong. And the handlebar position is not fixed anyway. This is just a publicity photo. Well, yes, of course, right. Of course it is. Yes, you can modify. You would modify this any way you would want to. The Highway King is 2 bikes in one. It's also a garage queen. Well, yeah, possibly. Well, this is what I say. These are what I say about all these bikes, the Icon bikes, and any sort of limited edition bike. And I would even go far as to say the 120th anniversary bikes. How often do you see them on the road? How often? I've got to say, I can't remember ever seeing any limited edition bike. I could be completely wrong here, but I can't ever remember seeing them riding around. Not that I can think of. I'm sure. Look, I'm sure they are. And obviously it depends. I'm talking about here in the UK. So obviously if you're in the United States or wherever. But, let us know. Did you put a frame mounted feet? That's what I did back in the day to the 73 Electra. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure, Road King bars. Bring up a picture of the old Electra Glide without the shoe. You can see what I mean. Let me just have a look. Let me have a look at that, because you've got my intrigue. Electra Glide. Excuse me. There we go. There you go. So this is what the hold on. This is from motorcycleclassics.com, by the way. So this is what this is supposed to represent. That's what it's supposed to represent. I don't think it's that far off, actually. But exhaust is kind of, it's kind of long and sweeping, 2 into 1. It's got the boxes, the white boxes, and the engine guards there, or box guards on there. It's got the engine guards. It's got the it's got the same headlight arrangement, windscreen. Yeah, pretty much you could say the bars come down a little bit, but that's no big... They look like wider bars to me, actually. Let me just put up the picture for you. They just look like wider bars to me on the original. So this is the 1966 FLH Cheval, and this is the obviously the new one. Let's try to put similar. I don't think, and the seat, obviously, this is a bigger seat, it would appear. And obviously sitting up a lot proud, unladen. And obviously when you sit on it, it sort of comes back down again. Yeah, it looks okay. Yeah. Yeah, so less rear travel and less lean angle on these. Well, yes. Yeah, let's just have a look at a few more images here. Oops, wrong one. Let's have a look. So all I'm getting is solo seats. Yeah, and obviously then you're getting into customized one. This is an FLH, 1340. So how old is this? This is from Motorcycle Specs. This is a 1340. Yeah, you can see on this one here, obviously there is a seat difference there. I'm sure you could actually get something for this Icon bike that would look okay. Let's have a look here, see if there's anything. See, the 1975 Dutch, what did you have? A 1976, did you? Did you say you had that? So this is must be yours. What? Oh, crikey! What's all this? There you go. That's yours. I can't remember what you said. Yeah. So that was. This is from barnfinds.com. Let me just go back. I'm getting so many pop-ups come here. Yeah, I'm just looking for one with a sort of frame-mounted seat. Ah, here we go. This is a 1968. Yeah, look, if I can, this is from Barrett Johnson. There we go. Why is that? Come on, you bugger. Yeah, you can see there that basically you got to. My question is whether whether Harley Davidson would offer a seat, a pad seat for this bike, or whether like a king and queen seat or a two-piece seat that would go on this Highway King. I would imagine that it would. I would imagine that you should, or you'd definitely be able to find a Road King seat to fit that bike. I'm pretty sure. There's got to be, hasn't there? There's got to be a Road King seat there. You might have to make some modifications, or you might have to speak with your dealership or whatever to get it to work. I mean, if you wanted to take this bike and put it into... so two of you could go riding on it. See, with the rear guard. I mean, I say I've never ridden with this seat or with this kind of configuration. I don't think this is definitely whether this. Excuse me. Caught a cough all of a sudden. Whether this rear guard around the seat, whether that can be removed, so you can fit another pad seat on the back. Or whether you have to change the seat out completely. You can never put in. I just think this kind of motorcycle doesn't lend itself in the modern era to solo riding. It might be, and I suppose you've got to ask yourself how many people go solo riding on longer distances, and would buy this kind of bike, and would they go solo? Or would they take their wife or their girlfriend or whatever, on the back? That kind of thing. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I suppose there is a big shout these days where you can have his and her motorcycles. A lot of women getting into riding as well. But all I'm talking about is if this is supposed to be a touring bike, then touring bike, you want to have the option to take somebody with you, or to either take extra luggage. And as soon as you start strapping stuff across the boxes and across the rear mudguard or across the rear fender, you're going to start scratching the hell out of this. So you're either going to have to put a rack on the back if you're going solo, so you can put other bags on there, or you're going to have to find like a his and her seat, a dual seat, so you can put that on there. Dutch Road King seat will absolutely work on that bike 100%. Yeah, I think it will as well. I'll be very surprised if you can't find a seat, a 2-up seat for this bike. I'd be very, very surprised. Now, okay. Okay, yes, you're absolutely right. I mean, in that you could find a seat for it, but would it destroy the look of it? Would it ruin the lines of it? Well, I suppose that's, beauty is in the eye of the beholder and all that sort of stuff, isn't it? Dave B. The Highway King has been lowered to compensate for the height of the single seat. So as less rear suspension travel and smaller wheels, so a fixed seat would be painful. Is that the reason why? I didn't know that. Yeah, because that just seems to be a bit silly then, doesn't it? that does seem a bit silly. Why would they have done that? I do not know. Yeah. Well, if they've done that, yeah. Again, it would be very interesting to see what the difference is in terms of ride quality, ride comfort, I should say, and quality on this bike. You know, how does it handle the bends? How does it handle cornering, braking and cornering? Obviously, it's got all the electronic aids on there to help with that. But if the rear suspension has been, and the front suspension has been, well, obviously it's been changed a little bit, but the wheels are shorter. And that's going to help it with its, it's smaller. That's going to help it with its turning, but, you know, it's handing a little bit. But if the bike is meant to be for the open road, let's say, you know, if you are going to take it into the twisters, this kind of bike, you're not really going to lean it over too far. Well, most people who are going to ride these kinds of bikes are not into, you know, really twisting on, getting into the bend, seeing if you can get your knee down, that kind of thing. You know, we're not scraping pegs on this bike, right? We can all imagine. Yes, you might want to mesh. Yes, I'm sure people say, oh, I would definitely do it. But most people are not going to do that. So it's going to be a gentle ride, gentle cruising, gentle into the bends. And less lean angle. Yeah, I get that. I mean, what is the lean angle on this? Let's have a look. Come down here. Oh, specs. Chassis. It's usually this one, isn't it? No. Drivetrain. Is this the one? Okay, interestingly, it doesn't give me any. Hold on. It doesn't give me any wheel sizes. Am I looking at the wrong one here? Dimensions. That's what I need to look at. Yeah, so rake is 26 trail, 170 wheelbase, So the front tyres are 16, rear tyres are 16s as well. Oh, it didn't. Yeah, ground clearance. Oh, I haven't got any lean angle. Or lean angle, sorry, 32-31. 32-31. Actually, do you know what? That's compared to my bike. That's actually not bad. If I quickly show you my bike, Sport Glide. I forgot what the lean angle is on mine. I think it's was it 29, something like that? So look, hold on. Wait one caller. Wait one. It is. And drivetrain. Is it this one? No, it's performance. Yeah, so 28 and 29 is the lean angle for the Sport Glide. I thought it was. So it's better in that regard. Better in that regard. As I say, if it was me, if it was definitely me, out of the Icon bike or the Fast Johnny bike, for here in the UK, I would say the Icon bike is a good bike. I would say it looks like a good bike, but obviously the price here is $32,595, and that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for essentially a Road King. Yeah. I mean, it looks nice, don't get me wrong. A single seat Road King. Is that a bit unfair? Is that a bit unfair to say that? It probably is. I don't mean it to be. But it's a Road King Classic with a 114 engine and a solo seat. Yeah. But I would say it looks better. It feels better. It feels more of a Harley Davidson bike than the ST bikes. I just don't. I think the ST bikes with, you know, that Fast Johnny paint scheme, I think it works well in places like United States. I'm just not sure if that would work over here, but I could be completely wrong. As I say, I like Americana, I like American things, let's say, but I'm not a big fan in terms of I've got to have everything that, you know, that looks like it. I don't necessarily enjoy going to, you know, American diner themed places, you know, or anything themed. So, it's, if it's American, it's American. It's great. That's not the issue. But if it's kind of bit, and those STs, they kind of look a little, dare I say it, cheap Fords to me, because what happens is I'm not talking back in the day, you know, Ford Racing Stripes or Shelby Cobra Racing Stripes. I'm talking about modern era. You get either boy racers or you get modern Ford cars that they had this paint scheme and had the white stripe over it, and it just looked a bit naff. It looked a bit cheesy. So I'm just wondering, this is what I think I'm having a problem with it, you know. And when other people out there, you know, again, I openly say this when I talk about other YouTube channels or other Instagram or whatever, TikTok channels or whatever it is, that, you know, talk about Harley Davidsons, and that everybody's always so positive, always so amazing. Oh, this is fantastic. Oh, Harley Davidson are knocking it out of the park again. Harley Davidson are doing this again. Oh, they're amazing. Oh, this is the best bike ever. And I'm just going, well, you know, they're okay. It's nice, but, you know, let's dig into it. And hopefully this is what this live show is about. It's about a conversation. It's about a communication. It's about dissecting something, seeing what it is, looking at first thoughts, seeing where the positive sides are, where the not so positive sides are, and just calling it as it is and seeing what it is. You know, I don't have a dog in this race. So it doesn't really bother me. This is why I can be quite objective about it. You know, I'm not anybody who's going to sit here and say, hey, you know, Harley Davidson are the best thing since sliced bread, because they're not. You know, I ride a Harley Davidson. I love my bike. I've just been riding around, doing lots of testing. If you watch my videos, short videos the last few days, I've been trying to troubleshoot a little issue, and you'll have to see if I've resolved that now, tomorrow or the day after, when I release the latest short. But I don't have a dog in the race. I'm not that bothered by what Harley Davidson do or any other manufacturer do. In terms of, if I like what they do, great. I'll tell you, but I don't think just because it's Harley Davidson, they're doing a great thing here. And I question why, whether you're in the United States, whether you're in Australia, whether you're in Europe, whether you're in Timbuktu, wherever you are in the world, if you're paying an extra £3,000-4,000 dollars, shekels, just for a paint scheme and a logo, I got to question what it is. And again, I got to question why you would pay over 32,000 for an Icon bike that isn't really that iconic. It looks nice, it looks all right, and I agree with you, David. I think, yeah, I'd have one. I'd want one. I'd have one of the STs, but I wouldn't buy it. You know, I wouldn't buy it at those prices. Give me a couple of years. Now, whoever said earlier on, yeah, I think these, limited numbers and limited quantities, the residuals on these will probably be better. But again, you've got to will they just be stuck in the garage? Will they never be ridden, or only ever ridden on pride and joy, dry, sunny days, sunny afternoons? Well, if that's the case, then so be it. That's not a problem. Whoever owns these bikes or will buy these bikes, that's up to them. Look, if I had a large garage, I'd probably have, and I had the money, of course, I had the wealth to do it, I probably would have a Garage Queen bike. So my other bikes would be my daily bikes, and that would be my pride and joy, polish it within an inch of its life every two minutes, and then just ride it out once every couple of weeks or every month or something. But but my daily ride would be something else. Loads of people do that. There's not, there's no shame in that. But you do wonder how much. I don't know. Anyway, so the Lowrider ST, Road Glide ST, and the Street Glide ST have got a new paint scheme. The Fast Johnny, the racing stripes, super muscle bikes, super muscle car themed bikes, and then obviously they've got the Electra Glide Highway King as a brand new icon bike, I should say, in the two colours, which is the magenta and the orange. And this is coming in, starting in UK here, starting at 32,595. Is there any price difference on there? No, for the colours. Yeah. I'd say I quite like it. But again, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I think if I was looking at this bike, I know a couple who have got Road King Classics. They got them. I'm pretty sure one of them looks very similar to this. If not, I mean, Road King, a nice Road King, with the bags and everything, looks very similar to this anyway. So just go and buy yourself a Road King. If you're not that bothered about a 114 engine, of course, which most people aren't, just get yourself a Road King, and you'll probably get a really good deal on a Road King as well, actually. Yeah. Jonathan, I wonder what theme the next series of homage models will be based on. Well, good question. That's a good question, actually. You see, you see where I think the Icons have gone wrong here. Where I think the Icons have gone wrong here is that they've purely focused on the M8 engine, trying to fit into a bike that is kind of nostalgic with the two bikes. The El Diablo is kind of, a throwback to the 80s bike. I forgot what it is now, of course. But, they've taken the modern bike with the M8 engine and just gone for a bit of nostalgia. And so they've taken the influences. So I think, well, why are you focusing on just that? Why don't you also use the Revolution Max engine in, let's say, a Sportster style frame that harps back to something like the XLCR or something like that? Something like that would wow people, or make a really cool, Sportster, looking bike from the past. That's what I think. I think you got three Icon bikes with the M8 engine now. If you're going to do another Icon bike, actually, why don't you do it with a Revolution Max engine now, and just have that as your kind of your nod, your homage back to an older Sportster, a cafe racer type bike. I think that look really cool. Do something different. Now the problem is, would it appeal to the masses? I'm not sure. It would appeal to me, but I'm not sure if it would appeal to the masses. Andre, with dual seat, it would be a Road King again, which has been discontinued this year. 1994 first Road King was even still called Electra Glide Road King, yes, in the brochure. 1995 became the Road King, yes. Absolutely right. Now, all I'm saying to you is, if you want this bike, or if you want something that looks very, very similar to, let me put the picture back up, to the Icon bike, what I'm saying to you is just go and buy a Road King. The last year, or from 2 years ago, a Road King, maybe even in this same color, because I'm sure they offer it in this same color or very similar, like a bronzy kind of gold color. I'm sure you find it, and it would look virtually identical, and you could either have a solo seat on there, or you could have a dual seat on there, and you'd save yourself 15,000, 20,000 possibly. Do you know what I mean? You know, you save yourself a whole load of money, and you pretty much have the same bike. Because let's face it, the Road King, you know, okay, what the Road King won't have is all the electronic aids, electronic rider aids. But lots of people would say, well, do you really need those anyway? I'm not so sure you need any of that sort of stuff. I'm a bit old school when it comes to that sort of stuff. You know, my way of thinking is, it's nice having that sort of stuff, but if you kind of rely on it, then you're not really riding the bike anymore. You're not getting the great feel for it. But there you go, that's just me. But there's no denying I mean, my bike hasn't got any rider aids on it, in terms of like this. So I'm not sure why you would need rider aids, electronic rider aids on this one. But there we go. There we go. Anyway, listen, let us know your thoughts in the comments below afterwards. And that's it. That's been another live show here from me. So lots going on in the channel behind the scenes. Most of the stuff what I'm doing right now, as you would have imagined, I'm just doing lots of shorts at the moment to keep the channel going, and obviously the live shows. I will at some point get back to do a bit more longer form videos as well. I've got a few ideas of those as well. I am going away. I'm sort of backwards and forwards, in and out, as it were, over the next few months. So it could be a bit hit and miss when I'm doing videos or when I'm doing live shows as well. I will try and do as many as I can, but as I say, I really will. It also depends on the news stories as well, what comes out there as well. So, but I will try and do more and keep it going. Obviously, the website's still pumping out its stuff for you. Lots of information there. People still sending me emails asking me, hey, send me this template from the Harley Davidson. Well, it's all, for all the stuff that I did on the Softails. Okay, people have just got to go to the website. It's all on the website. So you just have to do a bit of searching around, and it's all on the website, all on the resources page. Go there and you'll find everything there. Anyway, so that's that. But so there is more coming from the channel. I will be doing more videos. I am going away, as I say. I've got a little bit to do in other parts, but I will be doing wherever I go, whatever I'm doing, whether on the bike, in the Breaking Bag camper, or out and about. I'll just do those as shorts. Any little quick tech videos, I will be doing those just as shorts, not as long form videos. But the longer form videos I will introduce either to explain something a little bit more, or to show something, or to discuss something a little bit more, or to ride around a little bit more, but that's about it. Anyway, listen, so lots more coming from the channel, lots more coming from the website, and hopefully you're hopefully you're enjoying everything that's been going on. Please follow on all the socials. Thanks for everything on Patreon as well. Really appreciate that. And you can help support via PayPal as well, direct from the website. All that kind of good stuff helps me just to keep on doing what I do and pumping out the content like I do and bringing all these live shows. And anyway, listen, got to go. People to see, plans to make, and all that kind of good stuff. But I catch you again. It's been emotional. So, an Icon bike or a Fast Johnny? Over to you. Cheers.